Folks, I know there's a history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here. I know.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you...
I got some exciting news. But first, let's take a look. Again, what is up, guys?
Brian Drake. I'm at Foundation Fitness Wellness. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Drake. I'm at Foundation Fitness Wellness Center, a new member of the team. I'm a chiropractor, so I focus on bringing balance back to the body, restoring alignment, restoring transmission of communication in the body, and allowing your body to function at its optimal levels, which is pretty much at the heart of what Foundation Fitness Wellness Center is all about. It's about restoring someone to the optimal functional fitness so they can live life to the fullest. I specialize in upper cervical chiropractic techniques, a few pediatric techniques for kids that have also suffered traumas, and as well as some muscular and myofascial techniques that enhance the general chiropractic techniques that I do. So we have a whole team of experts here. It's an amazing group of people. We are focused on optimizing the health of every individual that comes through the door. Come see us, you won't be disappointed. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Drake. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Drake. I'm at Foundation Fitness Wellness Center.
Oops,
a new member
sorry.
of the team.
This is Dr. Brian Drake.
I'm a chiropractor, so I focus on bringing balance back to the body, restoring alignment.
Again, this is Brian Drake, murdered victim in 2020. This was when he joined the Hayden team. And I want to say this was 2018, 2019 summer. Found this gem on YouTube. Never saw it before. So none of you guys should have seen it before. And if you have, hey, because I think I've probably taken over all the names. Like when you search Brian Drake, you search Jennifer Drake. Literally, I did a search and it says, you know, all my episodes and what they have. So I have uncovered evidence that proves that there is no way that this man was talking to his wife at 7:26, and that's when he was shot. And I'm going to show it here now, and then I'm going to have a big reveal. Even if it's not later tonight, it will be tomorrow. I got Scott Roeder that's going to be joining me when we talk about some stuff with the shooting through the window and things like that. But I have, and guess where I got it from? I got it straight from the Discovery. So I am going to expose the living shit out of Leslie Lehman. She is an ISP detective. You guys can decide either she sold to the good old boys and the devil, or she is that bad, or both. Again, I'm gonna let you guys decide. But this is what I'm going to reveal today is 100% proof that they knew right off the bat, as of March 13th, 2020, he was murdered on the 12th. Leslie knew the discrepancies, the huge discrepancies in the stories surrounding Isaac Funderburg, Aaliyah Sandelin. And then when you mix that, what Steve Hartman says is what time he saw them. But the big thing is Isaac Funderburg said that he came back, got in his girlfriend's car to then drive to the store, Well, I can prove that that did not happen. And in fact, I can prove it through Isaac's own words. I can prove it via surveillance cameras. I can prove that Leslie Lehman knew this. She knew the timeline was all whack. And they fucking buried it. And you have to ask yourself, did they bury it because they are inept? Did they bury it because, again, they had to because there was something going on? Or both, inept, corrupt. At the end of the day, this department, the Idaho State Police, they are the ones running the Idaho 4. They were the ones running that investigation. And even working alongside the Moscow Police Department, which is kind of like Bonners Ferry, small, little, dinky dink. They're not dealing with murders. I mean, they got bikes being stolen, shit like that. But right here, this is Brian Drake. Roughly, I'm going to say right around 6 months to 9 months before he was murdered. Here, you can hear him speak on his own.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Drake. I'm at Foundation Fitness Wellness Center, a new member of the team. I'm a chiropractor, so I focus on bringing balance back to the body, restoring alignment, restoring transmission of communication in the body, and allowing your body to function at its optimal levels, which is pretty much at the heart of what Foundation Fitness Wellness Center is all about. It's about restoring someone to the optimal functional fitness so they can live life to the fullest. I specialize in upper cervical chiropractic techniques, a few pediatric techniques for kids that have also suffered traumas, and as well as some muscular and myofascial techniques that enhance the general chiropractic techniques that I do. So we have a whole team of experts here. It's an amazing group of people. We are focused on optimizing the health of every individual that comes through the door. Come see us. You won't be disappointed.
All right, we will do that. Well, we can't now. We don't have the opportunity, but let's go ahead and do this. So I'm going to share with you guys Hector. And now what I'm going to share with you guys is this is straight from the investigation. There is what you call reports. Okay. And good old Isaac Funderburg. Now, he had 2 last names. And the reason he had 2 last names is because he changed his last name. So Isaac Funderburg is also Isaac Spain Ireland. Okay. He changed his name because of his parents and shit like that. It doesn't matter. It's the same person. I don't know why he did it. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant as fuck. Now, so that's why they have this Spain Ireland like that. Okay. It's because he had, now I want you to take a look at the date on March 13th, 2020. You see that? Boom. Okay. We're going to first start with when what's his dipshit name? Van Leuven took over the investigation. This is his crime scene processing. This is his huge report. I want to show you guys. This is supplemental number 1. Right here, by 12:35 p.m., ISP detectives Alderson C. Lehman, Leslie Lehman, Clark, Huddle, and Beach had arrived on scene in Bonners Ferry. I assigned them the task of canvassing the area around the crime scene and obtaining copies of any security camera footage that was available. Now, let me tell you what I think is interesting here. He was like, go get camera footage. And what do these detectives do? Alderson and Lehman? They go across the street and they talk to Isaac Funderburg and Aaliyah Sandlin at the apartment again. And how do I know that? Well, I have the transcripts of what time they sat down with and was at their apartment. Okay. So this one says, all right, today by my watch, it's, see this? Friday, March 13th. 1350. So if you do the math on that, you guys tell me what time that is. That's 150. Then before that, they interviewed the boyfriend at 120. Okay. So literally, they didn't go canvassing for this, these cameras. They don't end up doing that shit until the following Monday. All right. So these two ISP detectives go and interview Isaac Funderburg and Aaliyah Sandlin. While this is going on, what's his name? Van Leuven, who's in charge, he tells these other people that they're going to, where is it? Right here. I later asked Detective Snell and Detectives Huddle, Beach, and Clark to process Hartman's hotel room because they were waiting to obtain a search warrant. And Steve Hartman's the guy that was walking along after the fact when Aaliyah Sandlin says that this guy has nothing, she believes has nothing to do with it because he came 30 minutes after they heard the gunshot. Okay. Now, so they're interviewing Isaac and Aaliyah. And right here, I have those interviews. At the same time, the FBI people that they brought in, they're going to be interviewing Hartman. Now, during Hartman's statements, he says that he runs into Isaac Funderburg. And this was a oh shit moment, okay? Because they have surveillance footage of Stephen Hartman leaving the Kootenai River Inn Casino at 6:40. Then they have him on camera at 7:01 at the Liberty gas station, which is right next to basically Isaac Funderburg's apartment, which is right across from Dr. Drake's office. Now, he's on it at 7:01 on his walk heading south. North is towards the casino, towards Canada, and south is towards back to Coeur d'Alene. So he's walking south, all right? And then he is then seen again, now walking north to go back to his hotel room at 7:34 p.m. He's on camera. Well, when I got my hands on his interview and he said that he had talked to Isaac Funderburg and he's describing it, okay, great. I realized that we have a huge problem in this timeline. Because Jennifer Drake says that she was on the phone with her husband from 7:17 p.m. until 7:26 because at 7:26, that's when he was shot. And the phone goes black and, she has to then call 911 and all that shit, right? She does not say that this happened at the beginning of the 7:17 phone call. She says it happens at the end, and that's why she had to hang up at 7:26. So she thought that this happened 15 seconds before, 7:26. And that then she calls 911. Now, this is where it's perfect. This is where it's amazing. So Leslie Lehan, whatever she wants to say her last name, and Richard Alderson end up interviewing Aaliyah Sandlin and Isaac Funderburg, and then they leave the apartment. Then 4 hours would pass. 4 hours would pass because based on what Stephen Hartman said and based on the fucking surveillance cameras that catch Stephen Hartman, right? You guys wait for this. Leslie Liam tried to bury the Liberty camera surveillance. She wrote in a report that they were recorded over and that they could not get the Liberty camera gas station footage. She wrote that in a report. And I'm going to show it to you. But that wasn't true. That wasn't true. Before she wrote that in a report, she had to call up Isaac Funderburg on the phone. She doesn't record the conversation, which is not what you're supposed to do, knowing that you're going to be making a very, very important phone call, but she does write it in. Check this out. She says, on March 13th, 2020, approximately 12:56 hours, they had interviewed, those two people, Isaac and Aaliyah. On March 13th, 2020, approximately 16:26 hours, I made contact with eyewitness Isaac Spain, Ireland Funderburg via cell phone. And the reason why is because ISP Detective Richard Alderson was in the investigations building for the Boundary County Sheriff's Department serving a detainment warrant on Stephen Hartman. Okay, and I think it's funny because Richard Alderson was actually with, I would love to know when he was doing this because Richard Alderson was actually with her. So I don't know if she has the wrong name written down here, but I don't know how somebody could be at two places at once, but whatever. So now I was asked to call Spain, Ireland and confirm the description of the male he had made contact with on the Les Schwab side of the US 95 several minutes after the gunshot was heard. During my phone call to Spain, Ireland, I learned the following regarding the description of the walking male. And this is how dumb she is. Thank you so much for writing this down. There's two things that were very, very important. Now, when Isaac Funderburg was interviewed, he said that he heard the gunshot and then he got in his car and he drove over trying to get a picture of the guy because he saw this guy walking and he tried to go get a picture of him. So he got in his car and drove over behind the A-frame building and was trying to get a picture of him. Then he had to turn around and then he came back, and then he got in his girlfriend's car and then he then drove to Super One because his girlfriend asked him to go pick up mustard. Okay. Because they were making burgers. Okay. So again, this has been their story, and this is really, really important. So right here, Spain, Ireland had just returned from the store and was standing next to his vehicle near his apartment. Spain, Ireland estimated the conversation with this male took place 10 to 15 minutes after the gunshot was heard. Now, in Stephen Hartman's interview, thank you, he says that Spain, Ireland was in his little silver hatchback, Passat, Subaru, whatever the hell he was calling it. Now, how in the world can you hear now Isaac and because we have the camera, Isaac and Stephen Hartman are talking at 7:30 and like 40 seconds. 7:30 and 40 seconds. To like 7:30, like 32 in 40 seconds. And then because he's then seen on the Liberty camera at 7:34. Now, 7:26 is when this shooting, according to Jennifer, is supposed to happen. Well, how could Isaac Funderburg possibly hear a gunshot when he was at Super One getting mustard, allegedly? Oh, wait, but I thought he took his girlfriend's white car to go do that. No. Isaac Spain went over there 2 times. Just like Tim Hand said that he saw a little silver car, going across at 7:00. Okay. It is impossible for Isaac Spain to have heard this gunshot that Jennifer Drake says took place at 7:25 if he is telling us right here that I went to the supermarket. That's when I was at the supermarket because I came back from the supermarket. But that can't be true because you said you went to the supermarket in your white car, not your silver car. Again, and how do we know all this? Because here, Stephen Hartman, here's his story to the FBI. Hartman described the guy in his 20s. Hartman then described that he was driving a station wagon. The guy was driving as possibly a silver Subaru type vehicle. Hartman described the guy he talked to in more detail. He was in his 20s, thin, with light brown hair and a little bit of facial hair. Hartman stated on his way back, somewhere around the top of the hill, a guy pulled up to an apartment. The guy was in a gray station wagon. The guy asked Hartman if he had heard some gunshots. Hartman told him he hadn't because he had his headphones on. Hartman stated the guy had 2 German Shepherd dogs with him. Hartman described where the station wagon was parked. After Hartman talked to the guy, Hartman saw multiple police cars and an ambulance coming up the hill. Hartman stated he was on the left side of the road walking back to the hotel when he met this guy. Oh, you didn't jump any gun there. You didn't jump any gun. Brian Drake was not shot through a window. Jennifer Drake did not hear that. Jennifer Drake was not on the phone when Brian Drake was shot through any window. This is impossible. But right here, Leslie knew that there were issues and she buried it. Leslie knew that it would be impossible for Isaac Funderburg to have heard a gunshot if you were at Super One Market. Because when she has to call him, because after they get this interview, they're like, we have him on the cameras. Like, this shit isn't lying. Okay. And then this is why Leslie buries the cameras or tries to, but doesn't realize that this guy named Kelly Jones had already given all the cameras and downloaded the cameras to Marty Ryan. Yes, whoever you are out there, Kelly Jones. All I have to say is one day I will find you because you saved this case. Because this fucking bitch from ISP, this cunt, and I don't usually use that word a lot, but she's a flat out cunt, okay? And I cannot wait to meet this broad, okay? Because I have all the videos. I know what she put that family through. I know how she acted in interviews with Dan Moore's wife. She's a pig. She is a gross little piglet. She was about to try to bury the Liberty camera gas station cameras. I have it in a report. She writes that there was no we were there and they said that the cameras had already been written over. And I cannot believe myself. But here we have Stephen Hartman on camera, 7:01, walking like he normally does. Then he was walking back. So he was already at Liberty, which is past Isaac Funderburg's at 7:34, which means he had to have talked, like Stephen Hartman said, to Isaac Funderburg at 7:32, 7:31, right? Well, don't you think that you'd sit around a war room with your fellow, ISP people and say, we have a 20-year-old that's lying to us. Maybe we should go talk to him again. No, you want to know why? Because it was all going to blow up the narrative that Jennifer Drake had, which is that Jennifer Drake couldn't have been on the phone and Brian Drake couldn't have been shot. And an eyewitness heard it and called 911 because of that at 7:26. And now let me ask you something, Leslie Lamehin. Leslie lay on my back, man. Why didn't you go and get the Super One cameras? Super One has tons of cameras. In fact, people in Bonners Ferry stopped going to Super One when they first put Super One in because people were getting arrested left and right due to their cameras. So people were like, fuck, I ain't going to Super One. I'll go to Safeway. You guys are sick. You guys are sick. Absolutely. This is disgusting. This is disgusting what y'all try to do. Okay. And then here, why wouldn't you record? I think this was recorded. And again, you buried it. Okay. There is no evidence to be placed in ISP evidence regarding the phone call with Spain, Ireland. You know what that means? That means she didn't record the conversation. That means probably Isaac gave a lot more than just this. But Spain had just returned from the store and was standing next to his vehicle near his apartment when he encountered. That means we have him making a loop around. They say that he went into and turned around at Dr. Moore's office, okay, at 7:31. Well, why don't you go and ask him what he was doing at 6:47, 6:53. Ask him about that black two-door that he wants to call an Impala. Because you want to know what I got over here? I found the man that they're talking about. Let's take a look. Let's see. I want want to use a certain picture. Oh, here we go. Leslie Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You ready to see how Leslie tried to hide this? Come here, Leslie. Come on, let me put your ass on blast, girl. I love blasting people. Detective Alderson and I met with Kelly Dwayne Jones. Again, whoever this man is, I cannot wait. One day we're going to meet. And when we meet, the big Italian hug I'm going to give you. Look at what this broad tries to write in comments. Again, look at the date here. March 17th. Now, why would it be on March 17th that Leslie is saying that she goes to Liberty Mart located at 6856 Main Street, Bonners Ferry, Idaho at 12:24 hours. Liberty Mart, South Hill Quick Stop. That's the Liberty gas station. Owner Bibik Sunar was also at the premises assisting with the video surveillance. Jones served as the technical provider for the video surveillance equipment at the Liberty Mart and several locations throughout Bonners Ferry. The meeting with Jones was brief, as the video surveillance footage for the Liberty Mart from the evening hours of March 12, 2020 was already looping over and erasing the footage needing to be preserved. Follow-up with Jones was handled by ISP Trooper Andy Huddle. The interview was audio recorded. Well, how come I have all this Liberty Camera gas station footage? Y'all are just, do you just see what, like, wait, excuse me? Leslie, you were told by Van Leuven to take your hoe ass, okay, to go get these surveillance cameras. That's what you were supposed to go and do. But instead, you walk over and you interview Isaac Futterberg and his girlfriend again for the 10th time. Okay. But yet there's only 2 or 3 times that have ever been like recorded. And in that interview, Isaac is telling you that, let's see. I didn't see where he went from there. I had gotten in my car and tried to track him down, and I couldn't find him and just didn't really see anything. At this point, it was probably about 5 minutes after the gunshot. I was driving in the alleyway, and I had made my phone call to the police to let them know what I had heard and what was going on. Probably wouldn't have even called him. Who's him? If I didn't see the way that the guy was acting, just because he looked super stressed out and suspicious. That's the vibe I picked up on from how he was acting. I made my call to the police in the alleyway, and then I'd come back through right where the crime scene was. Actually, through the drive-through area. I drove back through there. I had come back home and parked the car and brought the dogs inside. This is all lies. Remember, the dogs are actually in the car still. Wait for it. After you called the police, he was there, you left, and he saw him sitting there, and he's like, no, he was moving the whole time I saw. The only time he stopped was 3 times I yelled at him. Each time he stopped. The first time he stopped. The second time he stopped and looked back. And then the third time he stopped. Kind of sounds like the whole Dylan thing. 3 times, right? Then he says, now, earlier he says, from our apartment south of us is Les Schwab. There are usually cars there parked at night. They're being picked up by customers. The night of the crime, there was a black two-door, he thought a Chevy. I believe it was a Chevy. It was sitting just outside our window at the Les Schwab, and it was facing our window with headlights. It was blocking two cars in that were parked properly in the parking lot. The thing that was weird about it was he sat there for half an hour. And my fiance asked me a couple of times. She said, where or why is he sitting there like that? Wait, this gets so good. That's really weird. He'd gotten out of his car a couple of times and hasn't done anything. She just kept asking me about it. This was Thursday, March 12th. What approximate time did you start observing this? That was about 6:30-ish, I believe. Maybe a little bit later. It was just weird because he sat there for a long time. Okay, what did the gentleman look like? What did the person look like Oh, I didn't actually see him. We were sitting on our couch watching TV with the blinds barely open. Excuse me? Then how are you noticing all of this? Then he said, we didn't see anything. I saw the headlights come in and looked out there and saw him getting in his car at one point. I saw him out at another. You just saw a figure. You couldn't tell the gender clothing. Yes, I couldn't make him out. I believe he was wearing mostly black clothes. Okay. Okay. How dark of night was it? Okay. I can't. All right. Just to catch up back. You observed this gentleman for about a half hour. And then if you want to bring us back up to speed, yes. About an hour or so later, wrong. He's pushing this now an hour out. It was about 7:30-ish, maybe a little bit later. My fiance was cooking dinner. Now, this is where it's story time. My fiance was cooking dinner, and I had gone outside to put plates on her new vehicle. At this point, I had gotten the back license plate on, and I'd heard a gunshot. Would you mind telling me where your vehicle was located? And so he tells him. Yeah, it's facing north, the same way that the traffic would flow on Highway 2. And this is exactly how Hartman describes seeing him by his vehicle. Yes, I had heard a gunshot, and then I heard a second one, or an echo. Everything in this neighborhood echoes like crazy, he says. I believe it was possibly a second gunshot, possibly not. Then my fiance come out the door to check on me because she heard the gunshot too. I peeked my head around the corner and I asked her if she heard it. She yelled down to me on our porch and said yes. At that time, I had seen a figure over my left shoulder. Now, I do believe that all of this happened. This just happened way earlier, as you guys will soon see. I see a figure over my left shoulder, and I turned that way to see what was happening. And then, he says all of this. Now, here we go. I'm going to fast forward to here. I saw the figure that was approximately 5'8". He had tanner skin. He was white. He had a mustache. I believe that's all I saw for facial hair was a mustache. He was a little bit heavier set in the midsection, a little bit chunky, I guess would be the other way to put it. That's about all I saw. He was wearing black sweatpants. I believe he was wearing a black sweatshirt. And I believe I saw a vest too. I'm pretty sure I saw him wearing a vest. He definitely had a beanie on. Totally not the description of Dan Moore whatsoever. Dan Moore's never had facial hair in his life. Dan Moore is not tan, nor Hawaiian, nor Indian, nor anything. He is as white as they come. Okay. So was he wearing a hooded sweatshirt or just yeah, I believe so. Was the hood down or up? The hood was down, I believe. Now, I went through hours upon hours of footage at the Liberty gas station that Leslie said that didn't existed. What a bitch. I just think she's not good at her job. That's to be honest with you. She can't connect dots to save her life. So let's see. We're gonna go with this pile. Looks good. This pile looks healthy. Here we go. Damn. Just lay it on him, Lana. Now, take a look here. You know that car that catches air? Flies over that dark car? That guy looks pretty dark, doesn't he? That's a 2-door old school Solero. It used to be gold. They painted it black. Now, do you see the incline on the how it's like a an angled back mirror? You see that? See the hoodie? See how he's a little chunkier right there in the midsection? Now, let me see what else I want to show out of that. This car is registered to a Victor Ponce. You know, Les Schwab, the guy that was running it and doing all the camera stuff. That's his cousin, Joel Ponce. My sources say that they're swingers. My sources say that Zin Ponce was trying to get fresh with a guy that was 10 years younger than her. So, again, that's all alleged from my sources. Now, you would think that if you were looking at the cameras and paying close attention to these cars that were driving all over the place, let's go back to look at what Isaac says here at the end. Right here. Okay, Leslie says, okay, I still may want to take a look at the tires just on the off chance since you came down through the alley. And then his girlfriend says, didn't you drive in my car? When I went after him, no, I drove your car to the store. I drove my car when I went after him. Now, she calls him up. Leslie Lehman calls him up and talks to him on the phone. I had just returned from the store and was standing next to his vehicle near his apartment. So he's saying when he returned from the store, that's when he encountered Stephen Hartman. Well, I thought you drove your girlfriend's car. She tries to give him an out. Okay. Aaliyah pops up and is like, wait, didn't you drive my car to the store? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the first time I had drove your car. Oh, I've never driven your car before until last night. How many conversations have you had with the police? A lot. I don't know, probably 10, but yet there's no recordings of them. I gave them all the information I could remember last night. But right there, he says that he had just gotten back. When I went after him, right here. the vehicle that you drove then ran an errand, and then did you take it to work this morning? Yes, I did. Okay, I still want to take a look at those tires. And that's when his girlfriend pops up and says, oh, wait, didn't you drive my car? Well, no, actually, you didn't. Isaac Funderburg was in his own car, okay, as he would say, because he couldn't keep his lies straight. All right. And that matches what Steve Hartman says, which is when I saw Isaac Funderburg, he was in his silver car driving up, parked his car. Then the dogs get out, and he was carrying something in. He was in a silver Subaru type vehicle, and he was right here. The guy was carrying things into the apartment. Okay. And this would have been at 7:32. And so what we have here then is he says, yeah, I saw him after I had gotten back from the store. And he says, I would have ran into Isaac Funderburg 10 to 15 minutes after hearing the gunshot. Okay. Well, you ran into Isaac Funderburg ran into Steve Hartman at 7:32, 7:31. 10 or 15 minutes puts that when. But guess what Aaliyah says? She says that when everything that happened with Hartman, her interview says that this. So then Aaliyah was interviewed. How soon after the gunshots from the time when you saw him? Probably about 10, 20 seconds, maybe, because I ran outside. This is not about Steve Hartman. This is about seeing the dark colored guy. Okay. And then he says, you didn't see anybody else? And she says, no, well, maybe it was from when my fiance got back from the store. I believe he asked, there's this gentleman that was just walking down the street, but I don't think he's anything to do with it. He said he didn't even hear any gunshots. He was just walking down the street, they say. He was just walking down the side, walking next to our building. How long after the first shot? See how it says the first shot? Richard Alderson is even admitting that there's more than one gunshot. And her answer is 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Half an hour maybe is when all the cops were going in between the buildings. Because Isaac Funderburg's call happened right around and after 7 o'clock. They are saying that Isaac Funderburg's 911 call went out at 7:29. No, the fuck it didn't. There is no way that it did. Regardless, right here, she is saying that Stephen Hartman is walking up 30 minutes after hearing the first shot. Well, we have it on camera. Stephen Hartman's there at 7:31, 32. What's 30 minutes before that? 7 o'clock. Okay. 7 o'clock. What time does Tim Hand see Isaac, jet over there? 6:55, 7 o'clock. So how in the world can Jennifer Drake be on the phone at 7:17 to 7:26 with her husband? He's already been shot. Like I've been telling y'all. That second gunshot was the staging of the window being shot out. Isaac then says, and this is why they want to say that he switched up cars. Stephen Hartman proves that Isaac didn't switch up no cars to go to the store. Because when he was coming back from the store, he's in his silver Subaru. I also found his car coming back. Again, how can you hear a gunshot at 7:17? At 7:26 if you're at the store? Because he was on his way back from the store, allegedly. But there is a car that turns around at Dr. Moore's building, and it is Isaac's. So you want to know what I think? When Isaac was coming back, he went back over there again and looked in that area because he saw the cops driving around. So he went back over there. And that's why you see him on the camera at 7:30 is because he had already called the cops. He drove over there, and then he's coming back, and you can see that he gets back at his apartment, and then boom, he walks, he asks Hartman it. And that's when the girl was like, yeah, that was like 30 minutes before. But even Rich Alderson makes a mistake there, and he says, when was that the first gunshot? Why would you say first gunshot? Why wouldn't you say the gunshot? So I'm going to really need these liars to just not even to bother. If I get my hands on a discovery, I'll be able to tell you. I'll dig it out. And so basically what all of this means is that, in my opinion, you can't hear a gunshot at 7:26 if Isaac Funderburg is at the Super One market getting mustard. Okay? It's because there wasn't a gunshot that he heard at 7:26. He heard a gunshot earlier. He heard a gunshot way before. And now you have to get in your car to then drive down to the Super One, get out of your vehicle, go into Super One. Then he said, I didn't even have my phone. And that's why I said, well, how are you planning on taking a picture of somebody if you don't have your phone? Now, let me ask you this question. This is a 20-year-old that says he admits to the cops that he's driving through the crime scene. When you see that there's okay, we have a problem here. They're saying that they heard these gunshots 30 minutes before Steve Hartman showed up. Okay. They all had to say, well, that can't be possible because the wife called because she was on the phone and why couldn't it be that the wife is lying? There is nobody. Brian Drake is not alive to say what the heck actually truly happened on that alleged 7:17 to 7:26 call. All it was is that somebody, when they had left the office after they shot it out, dialed up Jennifer Drake so they could have that. That was part of the plan. And if he wasn't in fact shot through the window, but Jennifer Drake says that he was shot through the window, then how did Jennifer Drake know the fucking plan? That there was even a window going to be shot out? That means she knew the plan. Are you guys able to, can we start putting things together here? But this was all, Leslie had all of this. And guess what she had to go and do? She had to go on March 17th, try to lie and say that the Liberty cameras didn't exist, not realizing that guy Jones she doesn't understand how things operated in Bonners Ferry. She doesn't understand that he had actually like the hard DVRs of all of those places because he runs all of those cameras. This woman should be in prison. This is criminal. This is what Leslie, this is criminal. You understand that she had all of this on March 13th, and then on March 17th, she goes and wants to write up a report. Well, let's find out when that report was actually written up. We know that's what was in her notes. But after she would have talked to, there we go. When was this actually written up? Let's take a look here, Leslie in here. Now, March 17th interviews, approving officer 3190, 8/14/2020, approval time 13:44:02. Reported date was 3/17/2020, but it's supplemental report number 60. It's because you didn't type this puppy up until August 14th, 2020 at 13:44 in 2 seconds. Oh, honey child. You got a lot. You're going to have a lot to answer on that stand, girl. Oh, man. And then how about this? Ready for this one? Let's see who else tried to bury another camera. Oh, Leslie. Right here. At 14:45 hours on March 17th, 2020, why are you going and talking to this guy on March 17th when Van Leuven told you to go and do this on the 13th of March? And this would be Butch, the guy next door to the coffee shop that has all the cameras that y'all lied about and said that nothing was caught on them. Okay. Detective Alderson and I met with Gary William Butch Short. His name is Butch. This would be Marty, a relative of Marty Rhines from Marriage. At Far North Outfitters, located at 6791 Main Street, Bonners Ferry, Boundary County, Idaho. Short confirmed the video surveillance system for the business does not record. I have a witness that says otherwise. Short looked at the gun sales records for the store and noted a 70-year-old female purchased a .38 special on March 12th, 2020. Who is that person? Leslie, did you not follow up with that? That's exactly what y'all are saying Brian was killed with. Someone went into that store and bought a .38 special, and it was a 70-year-old female. Short said he was going to pull a gun sales list and provide it for ISP. Did that ever happen? Did you ever go up to follow up with that when you guys had no leads? You know, anybody can buy a gun for anybody and just give, and here, then I'll give you the gun and you can use it. No one's going to suspect a 7-year-old woman of doing this, right? I want to know who bought that gun. This is all lies. It'll come out. I dug up a witness right here. You guys are cheap. You guys suck. And I double checked about Paul Jacobson again with certain things. And again, Paul Jacobson said that there was another vehicle pulling into the Far North Outfitter side of the building. When he was pulling out, Jacobson said the driver was a younger female. And on the video or on the recording, he said that it looked like it could have been the daughter of what I listened to as being Eldora Gatchell's daughter, which her niece was in town, which would be a younger, you know, Eldora was at the time 47. I think her niece was, you know, in her mid 30s. They also listed that Jacobson paid Drake by credit card, $50 per visit. I had it that Paul told me that he paid by cash, and he thinks he paid $100 the visit before because it was like, you know, then that would be for like that visit and then the next visit. Anyways, circling back, your eyewitness is no longer an eyewitness. Your eyewitness was down. He was an eyewitness earlier. He was an eyewitness at 7 o'clock. And then he went down and got Mustard. And then on his way back from returning to Mustard, he just drove over to that area again to see, because he's like nosy like anybody like me. I would be doing the same thing. I would drive back over to that area and see like what the hell, you know, hey, what do you like? You see all these cops driving all over around and through. And so how could the cops be driving around and through before Jennifer Drake's 911 call came in? That's because Isaac Funderburg's call came in way hella sooner, but there was no reason to have ambulance or people with their lights on, right? Remember I told you that? Nobody's coming with ambulance when you just say that you heard a gunshot. Hey, I heard gunfire. They don't just whip out the ambulance, have the ambulance. That's not how that happens. They ask you what area you're in, then they're going to send a look in the area, but they're not dispatching a medic team. The medic team was dispatched after Jennifer Drake's 911 call came in. That's when the whole medic and shit was dispatched. And also what they did, everybody that was listening to the scanner that night, let me tell you what y'all heard. When you were listening to your scanner, your Bonners Ferry, right here is what you heard. The recordings of this 911 call of Isaac Funderburg's was later entered into evidence under the supplemental C list below. Assistant Chief Ryan advised that the Boundary County 911 aired the call about the gunshot and suspicious person. This is what got aired over the friggin' everybody that was listening to the scanner that night. What you guys heard was Isaac Funderburg's call in. That's what you guys heard, which was, yeah, I thought I heard just gunfire and like this, I don't know, it looked like a suspicious person like was wearing black. Okay. And you know, when Isaac went over there and he was driving around, yeah, he did see, like I told y'all, he did see somebody dressed in all black. He did see somebody with a gray vest. And who would have been there at that time still? Eldora Gatchell. So Eldora Gatchell and Jennifer Drake are actually, in my opinion, I think that they're very tight. And I think blaming each other makes it look like that you're not tight, right? That'd be a smart move to just blame each other. And you know, I don't want to say this. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but maybe it was Aldora because her husband was just so sick and tired of Aldora raving about, you know, how great Brian is. Give me a fucking break, girl. And then Aldora's over here like Jennifer was so calm and like, Aldora, it's true. Brian was murdered. Like what? Like just a dramatic fuck that she is. So, but I don't know if you guys saw this, if you guys are following the docket, the Drake Moore docket just dropped with new information. Hella subpoenas were just served on Airbnb. Somebody is watching my channel. Airbnb subpoenas were just served by the defense against the plaintiff, who's Jennifer Drake. They just served subpoenas to Airbnb for records of what Jennifer Drake is doing. Remember I told you guys she was renting out her home? She was Airbnb-ing this bitch? Go check out the docket. I cannot make this up. Airbnb just got subpoenaed. Boom. There's other subpoenas that went out. I mean, you guys... Go check it out. Airbnb just got subpoenaed. I was dead. I thought it was a birthday gift. It happened on the 18th. My birthday was the 19th. I was like, oh, flexing. Airbnb. Let me show you why. Let me show you what else I found to prove my Airbnb-ness. Well, Brian was so stressed because Jennifer was Airbnb-ing their house and then making them go like out of town for like to go see her family or whatever. But right here, Jennifer bought a camera for the house. Did the police ever go and obtain the camera for the house? Then Jennifer took a bunch of pictures. You know how you have to take pictures of your Airbnb and it shows you like she was buying and switching out beds, putting bunk beds in this house, making it so that way more people could come and stay. God knows what they were doing with this house. You know, for all I know, it could be used for, you know, trafficking. Maybe we'll find out that there was human trafficking going on through this house. But again, just kidding. Who knows? But all I know is that this picture was taken 7/3/19. Okay. And she installed a camera in the front door and then had a bunch of pictures to show after this, you know, welcome home. All this, she was Airbnb-ing her shit. Okay. You have a family. There's 6 of y'all, 4 kids, 2 adults, and you're Airbnb-ing your house. For what? That's where all this money that was coming through to PayPal, because you could get your PayPal. You could set up your Airbnb so when you're going to receive your money, it goes into your PayPal, and then you could cash out your PayPal. And so if Jennifer Drake lied at all about what type of income she was making, and then if she didn't work, this is considered a job. This is considered work. This is you get taxed on your Airbnb. Okay. But I about shit my pants. Not really. When I saw that Airbnb was just subpoenaed in this case. Lana, is there any? Oh yeah, the trial is going to be this July. We'll be there. It's a 2-week trial. We will be there. We'll be there for the whole thing. I already have my calendars all striped out. Week 1, week 2. It's a 2-week trial. This July. I think it's like July 13th. The last pretrial conference is June 26th. And then I think it's mid-July. I have it in my calendar. We will be there. I'm using my 2-week vacation. I'm going to go to it's in Bonner County. So I'm going to go and stay in Coeur d'Alene and in, I'm going to go see some peeps. But yeah, I'm going to be there for those 2 weeks in July. But y'all, this is wild. This is wild. Now you have to ask yourselves, why would the police want to cover for Jennifer Drake, right? Why would the police want to cover for Jennifer Drake? Well, I know that you cover for people if they've ever been like confidential informants. What if Brian Drake was killed because he was a confidential informant, and then that can't get out? What if Jennifer Drake was a confidential informant? So I went ahead and I did some research, and I will put it out in my next video where I show a very interesting connection as to Brian Drake's timeline of why he abruptly left chiropractic business to go to North Dakota to work with his brother for like 4 to 6 months in that 2015 time period, only then to come back, try to connect with Scott Crawford, but then he starts working for that Amy Sepulstra. I mean, this is going to be literally, you guys thought that the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp shit was entertaining. No. This is going to be a civil case where civil shit is being handled, but there's going to be a mini criminal trial that's basically going on. Because Jennifer Drake has filed a wrongful death suit against against Dr. Moore and his family. Okay. Him and his wife. The fuck did his wife do? But it's in Idaho, like you're married, whatever. But she filed a wrongful death suit. There has never been a trial. They couldn't even take this to trial. So here, everything is now back in play. With I'd be calling all these cops to the stand. I'd be getting them on the hook. You can depose people right now. I would be bringing all these cops in to take depositions, just like Baldwin and Rosie are doing right now in the Delphi case. You have an opportunity to, well, God, he just died. Tevis Hall, you had an opportunity to depose him. You have an opportunity to depose Jennifer Drake, which I think that she's been already deposed. I think Jennifer Drake's people are about to depose the Moores. I would just start deposing left and right. But really going and deposing Leslie, Alderson, asking them all of this stuff, like what the hell y'all doing? But you show that this crime did not happen at 7:26 p.m., then Dr. Dan Moore cannot remotely be responsible for this crime. Okay. Their whole case centers around this small windows, and it's based off of not science, not evidence. It's based off of the widows who just got $1 million, her version of events. Okay. So talk about fireworks. There's going to be mass fireworks. But dude, Airbnb getting subpoenaed. I said, oh, hell no. You guys, that just about sent me over the chair. But I want to thank you guys for listening. Again, I will be doing a follow-up to this because I really want to hone in and show you guys how these detectives knew the truth. They knew that it was all jacked up March 13th. What did they do? Not bring back in Stephen Hartman, not bring back in Aaliyah, not bring back in. Why wouldn't you ask Aaliyah and Isaac Funderburg for their phones like you do everybody else? Hey, can I see your phone? You said that you texted him while he was at the store. Oh, no, he took my phone when he went there. I called him. Well, then how did you call him? What phone did you have? All just lying. Lies. But you're dealing with a 19-year-old and a 17-year-old. Why wouldn't you go back and talk to them again and say, okay, well, we talked to this guy and we actually have like footage now and it shows like, look at this. If you saw him 30 minutes after, then that's pushing it up towards like, 7 o'clock, right? And all you would have to say is, just like you did a Tim Hand, are you sure that you didn't change your clocks back because it was a daylight savings? You don't think 19 and 17-year-olds, they're lazy. Oh, yeah, I guess we were going off of that microwave and we never reset it to push it back. So, yeah. So it would have been, if we're thinking it happened at 6:30 or, 7:30, then it would be like 6:30. You guys see where I'm going with this? Did nothing. They had to bury this. Somebody told them to bury it and they buried it. And that's why I said, Leslie, you sold your soul to the devil, girl, and I can prove it. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Till we see each other again. Love all the mods, subscribers, members. Please like the video, or don't like it, put the thumbs down, but share this video. This has to stop. An innocent man was literally framed, railroaded, life ruined because of these people. Period.
All right, who's responsible here? Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
Yeah, haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay, drive careful, okay?
Will do, thank you.
This is what the other group had that ran away.
Oh, really? You just ditched it? Awesome.
Those ones kept walking in the car. And the other one.
It's truly for the win.
Disc that I was given to. So there was 2 different discs. Okay? They all knew about it.
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.